Do we really only use 10% of our brains? Intriguing as it sounds, it's a myth that has been circulating for decades, a myth that science has relentlessly debunked. Why, you may ask? Let's dive into the evidence. The human brain, the most complex organ in our bodies, doesn't operate on a mere 10% power. Neuroimaging studies, utilizing technologies such as functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and positron emission tomography, PT, have consistently shown that we use much more than just a fraction of our brains. These imaging techniques reveal that during any given task, multiple areas of the brain are active and engaged, debunking the idea of a dormant 90% waiting to be awakened. Moreover, the brain isn't a monolith with one singular function. It's a complex network with different parts responsible for different tasks. The visual cortex, for example, handles vision, while the frontal lobe controls decision-making and planning. These areas, among others, are always active, always engaged in the business of living. Neuroscientists, the experts in the field, concur with these findings. They point out that the entire brain is in use, and the 10% myth is just that, a myth. But where did this myth originate? It's difficult to pinpoint an exact source, but it's likely a misinterpretation of early neuroscience or a quote taken out of context. Regardless of its origins, the myth has persisted, making its way into popular culture and general belief systems. Real-world examples further reinforce the evidence against this myth. Consider brain injury cases. When specific areas of the brain are damaged, corresponding functions are affected, highlighting the importance and active role of different brain regions. And what about learning and memory? As we learn new skills, we create memory pathways, a process that involves the active use of various parts of the brain, further debunking the 10% myth. To summarize, the brain is a complex, multifunctional organ where different areas serve specific functions. Brain imaging technology consistently shows activity throughout the brain during various tasks. There's no evolutionary logic behind the brain evolving to have such excess dormant capacity. Everyday activities, from the most mundane to the most complex, engage various parts of the brain, proving that we use much more than just 10% of our brains. So, the next time you hear someone mention the 10% myth, you'll have the facts at your fingertips to debunk it, because in reality we use all of our brains, not just a fraction.